Hello everyone and welcome back to my walkthrough of Dark Souls 3. Let's finally place the basin at the statue of the Beheading Knight and let's progress to the... So, before we can do that, we have one last dance, and this is actually the boss whose silhouette we could see in Irithyll. And indeed, she is of the Boreal Valley. Now, this boss may seem gentle, but she can be very, very relentless. So don't be fooled by this calm setting, I guess. Now, again, once the boss hits about 60%, the second phase begins and we can see why she is called the Dancer. Look at those moves. Right, so this boss is also one of the ones that we can stagger by repeatedly hitting her head, and she then becomes vulnerable to a critical hit, which is how I finished the fight. As a reward we get her soul, a bonfire, and we can finally place the Basin of Vows at the base of the statue. There we go. Now, how does this work? I am not sure. But hey, as long as we get access to the next area, there's nothing to complain about, right? Alright. So finally we can climb the ladder and we arrive at Lothric Castle. Now from here you can go to the left, which is a side area which I will take on in the next episode. To the right there is nothing really that you can do. It's more of a you'll be coming from this way, not going this way. So let's go forward instead. So what we get over here in the castle is Lothric knights, as you might imagine, but there are also priests which can empower enemies in here. So the goal is to take out the priests first. That way fighting the knights isn't as dangerous, though they still pack quite a punch. Alright, so after taking care of these guys, we get a Soul of a Crestfallen Knight, and over there is going to be a shortcut near the end of this area. But first, if we go up these stairs, there's another priest, which once again it's better to take him out early, and another knight to deal with. This one with a great shield and a spear. Alright, I managed to break his guard, and a critical hit to finish him off. Now, if you don't want to fight these guys, after you reach those the top of these stairs, you can go over here and hide in the corner, and unfortunately this priest appears to have successfully buffed the enemy. So this is where the fun begins. Alright, got him, and got another large Titanite shard as a drop. Now, in here is where we find our first bonfire of this area. And we can continue on with our journey. So, over here we find a chest that is actually a chest, and contains a hood, a robe, and a skirt of prayer. Which, by the way, is actually armor of a boss. Well, not armor, clothes of a boss that we'll encounter later on. Anyway, we also get a Titanite chunk. So, in this area is where we find Titanite chunks to upgrade our weapon even further. Now let's take out all of these hollow soldiers. Got some fire bombs from this guy, that's nice. Another Titanite chunk and a little ambush by these guys. There's also this enemy with the shield and spear once again. Let's get behind him, and before I continue on, by the way, up there is another one of the enemies that throws items that disable healing with Estes. So we need to be careful. Over here we can find a Twinkling Titanite and a Winged Knight who is apparently blind. But hits pretty hard. Right, after taking him out, we can climb up here. And this room actually contains an illusory wall, which after destroying it, we can find the set of Winged Knight armor and a Sacred Bloom shield. And we are actually above the area where we first entered. And you don't want to drop down here, it's just death. But you can drop over here onto those stairs and continue going forward. Now, moving on, there are more enemies with crossbows to deal with, so let's do that. And there's also a large hollow with a great axe to take care of. So let's do that. Right, now down here we have a hollow with a halberd. So let's take him out. And there was also another hollow soldier who just waited to ambush us. And that bugger is, by the way, still throwing the items, so that's annoying. Here we get a large soul of a weary warrior, and over here is this enemy, and 2 titanite chunks. Alright, now moving on. Up these stairs is where we can find the second bonfire of the area. Up here. And I guess I'm actually going to rest at it now. So, what have we got here? We've got an ember. Then, if we go up these stairs, we have a place that I actually included in the thumbnail of the video. And as you may have noticed, firstly, this is not the only wyvern that was in the thumbnail, and secondly, it's alive. And sure enough, if we try to cross this bridge, the wyvern is going to wake up, another wyvern will fly down, and we will be in some trouble. But before we do that, before I show you actually a secret tech of how to avoid triggering the wyverns earlier than necessary, over here is another knight guarding an item. So let's get him by surprise. And a charged attack, so he can just block it with his great shield. Yes, I know I made the terrible mistake of exhausting my stamina on attacks, so I couldn't roll away. Anyway, we get a large titanite shard from this guy, and we also get a great lance. Now, the secret technique to not awaken the wyverns too early is to run against this armor, which allows you to get over the wall without alarming the wyverns. And over here is also where you can find a titanite chunk. And I am going to also equip some fire bombs and some black fire bombs for this area. Now, moving on, if we follow this path over here, that's how we can get closer to where the wyverns are before they burn us to a crisp. But first, there are these enemies to deal with, and they are not very happy. Alright, I got both of them, and both of them dropped a large titanite shard. Now, in here is how you can get past the wyverns. And you can also find a large soul of a nameless soldier here, and there should be a hollow soldier here who would be throwing more of those items, and sure enough, there he is. And next to his original position, there's also a raw gem to loot. And before I continue on, I'm actually going to activate health restoration once again. And I am going to No, I do not want to put away the chime because it stops the health restoration. So over here... Oh, right, another thing. For now I would like to switch to Nightslayer's Ring to have an easier time of getting through the great shields of Lothric Knights. Right, so I would like to sneak up on these guys. and take both of them out. There we go. Alright, so after dealing with both of them, there's an item up there that we can get later on. But first, before we progress, there is a little area down here which contains quite a few chests and an Outrider Knight, similarly to the one at the end of Undead Settlement. And this guy is no less aggressive than the one from Undead Settlement, so we need to be careful. And there we go. After he's defeated, we get Irithil Rapier. So another weapon with properties of causing frostbite. Now in the chest in here we get a Spirit Tree Crest Shield, which is similarly to Crest Shield and the Dragon Shield, special in terms of offering elemental resistance. This one is good against lightning damage. There's also a Titanite scale in here. This chest contains a Twinkling Titanite, and this chest contains 2 Twinkling Titanites. Right, now let me re-equip the Silver Cat Ring. And this is where you want to make haste and cross to the other side before the wyverns start burning the area. Through this door. And this place is full of barrels, and as you might imagine, where there are barrels, there are enemies throwing fire bombs. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get the high ground. So go up the stairs. I should have gone up the stairs completely. Right, so up here, what have we got? We've got another one of these enemies throwing fire bombs. We got 2 dumb guys who don't know about gravity, but they know about ladders, so let me just wait for them and take them out when they appear, when they arrive. Speaking of arriving, there are 2 more guys that came from this balcony. Are you coming back up? You're coming back up. Okay, good. This guy is crazy. Anyway, I will now go back and take out the guy with this... Well, the last guy that was throwing fire bombs. There we go. And now that this area is safer, let me show you what we've got here. So down here we can find 3 more black fire bombs, and it will appear that there was another enemy here which I didn't notice. Anyway, so when we come back up the stairs, over here we can find a lever that opens this big gate, which acts as a shortcut. Now here on this ledge we can also find a large Soul of a Weary Warrior and a knight with a couple of priests to accompany him. Hi, future me here. So when I was initially recording this area, I completely looked over this side of the building. So let me show you what we have here. So firstly, out here we have another one of these lantern hollows, and quite a few hollows that are otherwise unaware of us. So let me deal with them. Out here There are also a couple more of these guys, and they are guarding a Titanite scale, so that's nice. Now, aside from that, in this building, in this side of the building, we can find an item in the corner, which is pale pine resin. So once again, it applies magic damage to your weapon when you use it. And we can also find a chest that, well, it's not a chest. It's another one of these mimics that I dislike fighting, because I find their moves to be more difficult to read. And this one drops 3 Titanite scales, which is quite nice. Right, now let's go back to the walkthrough. Now this is also where we can take care of those wyverns. So here, as you might notice, there is something nasty brewing, and sure enough, after we tickle its foot, that nasty emerges. And this one we need to actually be careful with, because it can spit fire. Well, not exactly fire, but kind of like cursed saliva that actually deals a lot of damage. So once again, similarly to how we dealt with it in High Wall of Lothric, the goal is to use fire bombs, but not get too close. So I will use a few normal fire bombs, then a couple black fire bombs, as they are more powerful, and finish the job with some other fire bombs. Okay, and after defeating this infected wyvern, we get 2 Titanite chunks and 2 embers. And I also got a large Titanite shard from that one. And the other wyvern also erupted with that infection, so we now don't have to worry about them. The area is not going to be scorched anymore, so we can safely explore over here. We can also go down there, which I will soon, but first I want to show you what's up here. So we get 2 twinkling Titanite from the crystal lizard. Then there's also a Titanite scale to be picked up. There is a refined gem. There is an ember. There is another ember. And to go down to that area I showed earlier, you need to actually drop below this bridge. There are also some lightning urns in here. Now if you drop on that side, you can get to the wyverns from I guess the back way, and if you drop on this side, you can find an undead bone shard. And also we have another infected hollow, and there is another hollow right here which is also infected, and I don't want to let it turn, so let's take it out before it gets the chance. Alright, down here we also find some Titanite chunks, and I will try to quietly approach this guy from the back and perform a charged attack, which worked very well. Now let me throw a firebomb. I guess I should have thrown 2. Anyway, this guy is defeated now. We don't get any guaranteed drops from this guy this time. But next to him was 2 twinkling Titanite. Right, now we can explore what's down here. So what we can find is 3 lightning urns hidden in the chest, or in in these crates. There's also a crystal lizard and one of these guys who is being very annoying with his little throwing knives now. Right, and if we keep going, it actually turns out that this is an ambush. And quite an ambush it is. Alright, one at a time, so that I don't kick the out of someone twice by accident. Right, so after dealing with them, this is where we can find a large soul of a nameless soldier, and we can also go up here to find a winged knight. This one is with a halberd, so similarly to the one we faced at the high wall of Lothric. And similarly, let's get behind him and then perform a charged attack. There we go. We get a large titanite shard, and we get to the guy who was throwing the items at us earlier. And next to him was a sniper crossbow with 11 sniper bolts. And we are also above these guys now. Alright, let me just take them out once again, just real quick, for the fun of it. And since I got quite a few titanite chunks, I'm going to go back to the shrine and upgrade my weapon. And after that I shall return here and continue on with exploring the area. Alright, so to the blacksmith.
What is good? What needs?
I got some more upgrade materials, which are just enough to upgrade my weapon to +10, which is as strong as it can be. Right, great, thanks. Bye bye. Alright, I will also upgrade my strength a little bit. So a few more points into strength, all the way to 40. And after reaching 40 strength, it's actually the soft cap. So if you look at how much my damage goes up, it goes up by 11 points after putting 4 points into strength, and after putting 2 more points it only goes up by 1. So 40 strength is the soft cap.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
Alright, that should be good. Now let me burn the undead bone shard that I found in the area. And let's go back to Dragon Barracks. Right, so now that the wyverns are no longer breathing fire, it's safe to just go ahead and through this gate. And this is unfortunately where we find a little challenge in the form of a priest and this guy with a great sword. And yeah, as you noticed, the guy hits really hard, like really hard. So my goal is to try to get behind him, which didn't work once again. It's not going well. Right, I guess let's just smack him a couple of times, see how he likes being hit with a greatsword, and it will appear that he doesn't. Alright, he actually dropped his. I did not expect that, and I also get a large Titanite shard from him. Now let me switch back to the Night Slayer ring, and what do you think you're doing? Anyway, to the left over here we can find an ember, and to the right we can find a knight with a great shield and a spear. So let's take him out as well. Alright, he also dropped a large Titanite shard. Now let me activate this once again. And now I can go over here, which is where we actually reach the boss fog gate. But first there's a shortcut over here, and this is also a place where we find a sunlight medal, which is a covenant item for warriors of sunlight. So the cooperation, I guess. Now over here is where we can summon Sirius if she has sworn her vows to us. But this is also where we can drop to deal with the other wyvern. But since the infection has already appeared, it's better to actually just bomb it from up here, which is what I shall do. With some fire bombs, a couple black fire bombs, and some more fire bombs to finish the job. Right, after this one is defeated, we can drop down to loot the items in this area. We also once again get 2 Titanite chunks and 2 embers for defeating it. It also dropped a large Titanite shard, and this is also where I get a soul of a crestfallen knight. And over here we find another chest that, surprise, surprise, well, not really. This chest is not really a chest. It's another mimic, the last one, as a matter of fact, in the base game. And this one drops Sunlight Straight Sword. Aside from that, we can also find Boreal Divine Tome of Lothric, which we can then use to which we can then give to Irina at the shrine. But first, before I progress forward, I want to show a couple of things. So firstly, over here to the left, there's a door that does not open from this side, and that is because we need to go up here and into that building to then open it from within. But before we do that, over here we can find another Titanite chunk, and here we encounter a few more of these guys. So let's deal with all of them. There we go. Now over here there is a ladder to go down, and another item. This one is the Knight's Ring, and the way it works is it just increases your strength by 5 points. And here we are faced with another Lothric knight with a great sword. And I shall give him a taste of my own greatsword. He drops a large titanite shard, and here we find a chest with 3 titanite scales. This is also where we can open this door. Come on, it wasn't that heavy. And there is also the Altar of Sunlight. We learn the Praise the Sun gesture. And this is where we can offer sunlight medals. So this is the place for warriors of sunlight to increase their covenant devotion and earn rewards. Right, before I go to the boss, over here we can find a summon sign for Eygon of Karim, if Irina is still safe. There's also an elevator which doesn't move, at least not yet. Aside from that, we can also find a couple rusted coins, a chest which contains a titanite scale, and there is also a way to the balcony outside, which we can get a sneak peek at the arena of the boss. And we also find a red tearstone ring. Now the way this one works is it increases your attack if you are very low on health, and the bonus is better than the one from Lloyd's sword ring. Right, we can also drop down here, and at this edge of the roof there is nothing, like just nothing. But if we go over here, this is where we can get the item, which is a Kaithas chime, and there are also these 2 Lothric knights which I defeated earlier. So instead of fighting them, I'm actually going to use a homeward bone to the shrine. And I will give Irina the Boreal Divine Tome that I found.
Oh, Champion of Ash, welcome back. Do you wish to hear a tale? You only have to ask.
Alright, so I've found this for you.
Oh, you've brought me a Boreal Divine Tome. Now I can tell new tales of miracles.
Right, let's pretend you're actually
Tales
facing
of the
me.
greater miracles can be quite the epics. What fun we will have.
And we can learn miracles that she has to offer. So aside from these 2, which are dark miracles, there are all of these miracles that we can purchase, and if we do that, we get a good ending for her quest line.
Thank you ever so much, sweet champion. May your solemn duty conclude in triumph.
And after we do that and reload the area, which I shall once again do by warping from Firelink Shrine to, well, Firelink Shrine. Irina can no longer be found here. She has moved to a new location, which I will show you right now. So we need to actually go outside of Firelink Shrine. So I need to wait for this fog to disappear. There we go. And Irina can now be found in this bell tower at its bottom. It's quite dark, so let me grab a torch. And here she sits. She also dropped the Boreal Divine Tome. And we can talk to her.
Oh, Sweet champion of ash, let souls be your strength.
And she can actually level us up just like a firekeeper can. Which I appreciated, but I don't believe I need to level up. I'm just glad you're alright. And now that we have the Deep Boreal Divine Tome back in our hands, we can bring it to someone who doesn't mind dark spells. To Carla.
Ah, hello again. Thank goodness. Yes. Yes. You require my sorceries, I presume?
Well, I got this.
Oh, is this a divine tome? What on earth are you thinking? I wouldn't go near a divine tome, or any so-called miracle. And casters of miracles are sure to steer clear of me. So please, don't torture me so.
But this is a tome of dark miracles, so it should be fine for you, right?
Ah, you. How could you? Oh. I know. I know. I owe my life to you. Fine then. But just this once, I will tell you this tale. But do understand, it will be my first time. I'll have no sniggering should I err.
Right, so now from her we can also learn the deep protection and no dark miracles, which I'm not going to. Thanks.
Do stay safe.
Sure, I will try. I will try to stay as safe as I can while I face the boss. Which, by the way, I don't believe I will need this anymore. So I will put it away, and now the fastest way to the boss is from Lothric Castle bonfire. And we can go over here to this little balcony, then drop, and then go back over here, and to the left is where we find the shortcut to the boss. Alright, I would like to change my equipment a little bit for now. So I don't think I will need this one. I guess I can equip the Estus ring for now. And I guess my armor is fine. Alright. But just in case, I'm going to send this elevator back down. I will also unequip these items, and let's take on the boss. So behind this fog we find Dragonslayer Armour. Now this boss hits quite hard. So you need to be careful, and if you get hit once, depending on the strength of its attack, you may be close to death. Lighter attacks will take about, I don't know, 30-40% of your health, maybe more, depending on your armor and your maximum health. But more powerful attacks can absolutely devastate your health bar. Now, the boss has entered the second phase, and it's not only the boss that gets new moves, but these so-called pilgrim butterflies also start joining the fight. And I didn't space his attack well and got hit with the powerful one. And then I was so focused on dodging the incoming projectiles that I got hit again, which almost spelled my doom. Right, so these butterflies have 3 different attacks that they can do. One of them is the laser, which then marks the ground and it erupts in flames. The other attack is those small dark projectiles, like you can see right there. And a third attack that the butterflies can do is a large projectile, which the best way to avoid it is to stand on the other side of the fountain. So if the projectile is coming from that way, I advise standing over here. Right, thanks to my weapon, this boss is not long for this world. Alright, Dragonslayer Armour has been defeated. We get a bonfire, some souls, and aside from that, access to a new area, which, by the way, a little secret. To the right, you can go down these stairs to find another Titanite chunk. Alright, I am not going to do this area in the next episode. I will instead go take care of the side area. So to get there I will first warp to Firelink Shrine. There are some things I need to get before going there, but I will do that at the beginning of the next episode. Before I do that, however, after defeating Dragonslayer Armour and after Irina is safe, you can go back to where you first encountered her and Eygon. And when you go there, you can find something. So let's head back to Undead Settlement. And in the cell where Irina was when we first met her, we can find Eygon dead, and we can loot his weapon and his shield. So Eygon's story has come to an end. Another NPC quest line has been finished, and that is how we're going to finish the episode. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.